Hello, everybody. This is John Paval with Access Arts Live, and this week's roundup of big stage productions. Um, I'm here in Paris, France, at about 7:30 in the evening European time. That makes it about, I think, 1:30 in the afternoon in New York, and 10:30 in the morning in Los Angeles, where I used to live. Anyway, we have all sorts of great big stage productions for you this week. And by that, I mean live streams of productions that take up the whole big stage, meaning orchestral works, opera, ballet, that sort of thing. If you're a lover of Rachmaninoff, he's being performed in St. Petersburg, where they know how to perform him. I'll explain that. Bournemouth in the UK, and in Tomsk out in Siberia. And if you're a lover of opera and choral works, you've got Tchaikovsky arias being performed. You've got a classic and a contemporary Stabat Mater being performed in New Zealand. And once again, hats off to them, a live stream from the Vienna State Opera again this Sunday. Their new production of Smetana's the Bartered Bride, which used to be a standard part of their repertoire. They haven't done it for 30 years. Wow. So good things to talk about. So let's get into them right away so I can tell you about all of them. And let me start out with the first of them, which will be conducted by this guy. Whoa. Karen Durgarian, who's Armenian. Tuesday, September 30th, the top Armenian conductor Karen Durgarian takes the helm of the St. Petersburg Phil to perform selections from Rachmaninoff's ballet music and his violin concerto with violinist Nikita Borisoglebsky. That'll be at 7 in the evening, St. Petersburg time, that's 7 in the evening European time, which is 1 o'clock on the East Coast and 10 in the morning on the West Coast in LA. And it's 8 o'clock Moscow time, which is St. Petersburg is on Moscow time. The violin concerto by Rachmaninoff was one that he composed in 1940. There's a long history between the St. Petersburg Phil and Rachmaninoff. They did all the Leningrad, St. Petersburg was called Leningrad in his time. All the Leningrad premieres of his new symphonies took place in the Great Hall of what was in the Leningrad Symphony. The first time he conducted a symphony, it was in that hall. And they did a special memorial concert for him a month after he died in June 1978. He was still around in the 1970s. I didn't know that. Anyway, the conductor is Karen Durgarian. When I say he's a top Armenian conductor, he was the principal conductor of the Armenian State Opera from 2001 to 2016. More recently, in terms of international work, he's done a lot of work in Italy. You know, they have all these opera houses in Italy. In fact, there's a group of 6 of them that live stream all the time. And starting in October, they're going to be live streaming, and we're going to be telling you about them. Anyway, the ones he works with are the Teatro Regio in Turin. They live stream. The Teatro Carlo Felici in Genoa, they live stream. The Cagliari Opera House, the Teatro Verdi, also works with some Italian symphonies. He's got a thing for Italian culture. Now, he's such a big guy in Armenia that already more than a decade ago, they gave him the title of Honored Artist of the Republic of Armenia in the field of arts and culture. That was in 2010. In these Russian-related countries, they sure do like these honorifics. Now, as for the violinist, let me put up a photo of the violinist for you as well, so you can see both of them. It's Nikita Borisoglebsky. Look at that guy. Look at that. Anyway, he's about 40 years old, born 1985. He's a soloist with the Moscow Phil. has a page on their website. I don't know if he has a page on St. Petersburg's. Anyway, since 23, he's been a resident at the Vienna Concert House, doing a chamber music subscription in a trio with a couple of other performers. And apparently he's done a lot of new debuts in a very high profile way at the Carnegie Hall, the Fisher Center, Suntory Hall, the Seoul Arts Center. Interestingly enough, this year he will be performing with the Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra, which I'm going to be telling you about as the next one live streaming. He'll be performing with the Finnish Radio Symphony Orchestra. I don't know if they live stream. I know the Philharmonic does, but they've commissioned a new violin concerto for him for Boris Oglebsky to play by composer Sauli Zinoviev. And he'll be playing with the Gulbenkian Orchestra, which also does a lot of live streaming. So you may get another bite at this apple. Anyway, it sounds like if you're a Rachmaninoff lover, you get music from his ballet Spartacus and Gayan, and then you get the violin concerto. I mean, if you love, and it's free of charge. If you love Rachmaninoff, I don't know why you wouldn't enjoy it and why you wouldn't tune into it. So let's move on then to the next item on the program, which is where there'll be more Rachmaninoff, but it'll be on the piano instead. So let me move these photos around for you, so you can see the conductor. That's the house. We'll show you the house conductor. That's Mark Wigglesworth. And Mark, in the past, has worked with this top pianist, Stephen Hoff. And he'll be working with him in this concert on Wednesday. So they know each other, which means they know how to work hand in glove together. Wednesday, October 1st, conductor Mark Wigglesworth brings in the celebrated pianist Stephen Hoff again to play Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 1 with Howard's Butterfly Effect and Shostakovich's 10th filling out the program. That'll be at 8:30 in the evening on Wednesday, October 1st. That's in Europe. That's 2:30 in the afternoon in New York, 11:30 in the morning in LA, and 10:30 at night down under in Australia. No, it can't. That timing can't be right. That is a mistaken time. It can't be. I'm mistaken about the Australian time. Strike that from the record. Anyway, that's the Bournemouth Symphony. Now, it is not free of charge. You need to buy a digital ticket for £11. So if you're a Rachmaninoff lover, as I'm about to talk to you about, you got to ask yourself, well, do I want to pay £11 to hear Rachmaninoff? They'll be doing that's the piece by Howard is called The Butterfly Effect, and it's based on this theory that a butterfly flapping its wings in Australia can cause a hurricane in Florida. I don't know if that's really true, but it's that's like these 6 stages of separation kind of thing that people come up with. And then they will do Rachmaninoff's first piano concerto. Oh, I already said that. That's the number 1 in F sharp minor, opus 1. Originally composed in 1891, but he revised it a lot in 1917. And then Shostakovich's Symphony No. 10 in E minor, opus 93. And they tell us that the 10th Symphony is now widely regarded in the program notes as Shostakovich's finest work, but I don't agree. I think his 5th is his finest. I mean, that's the one that thrills me. I mean, I can't listen to that one without being overwhelmed when it's done well, which is not always the case. So anyway, Stephen Hoff, he's, top of the line. I mean, a decade ago already, they made him a commander of the Order of the British Empire. He's a knight. He's Sir Stephen Hoff. He broke through, 40 years ago in the 1983 Naumburg competition. He's played everywhere since then. If there's a top music festival, Aldeburgh, Aspen Blossom, Edinburgh, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, he's played there. He's played 29 times at the BBC Proms, including playing all the works of Tchaikovsky for piano and orchestra there. which he did again with the Chicago Symphony. So he's absolutely top of the line. He's got over 60 albums out. He's the chairman of piano studies at the Royal Northern College in Manchester, and he's also on the faculty of Juilliard. I mean, and again, if you're a Rachmaninoff lover, you're going to get a great piano concerto number one from Stephen Hoff. I mean, that's clear. And the rest of it, I mean, how can you beat that? I can beat Shostakovich's 10th. Just because I don't think it's the greatest doesn't mean it isn't great. It is great. Okay, so let's move on. Now, if you don't want something so high class on Sunday, well, then we got something else for you. I mean, on Wednesday, got something else for you on Wednesday. There you go. If you do not want some high-class music, if you like big bands, you can have a good time on Wednesday with Cologne's WDR Big Band. They're featuring Lionel, Loueke, and Dave Holland. That's Wednesday, October 1st at 8 o'clock in the evening, European time. There's not much more to say about that. It's live streamed by ARD Classic. And we don't have the specific link for it, but we have the ARD Classic general live streams for you to check out if you just want to have a good time. Next up, very interesting conductor, another of the part of this wave of women conductors that is taken over the globe, really. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, I'm telling you, if you follow or subscribe to Access Arts Live, we get them all live streaming. I mean, from Joanna Malki at the Berlin Phil to Tabitha Berglund, who's the chief guest conductor, the principal guest conductor at the Detroit Symphony, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're only going to the symphony in your hometown, you're not going to get all these people. And we get them all. Most of the time, it's free of charge. So this is the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra, and that's Valentina Pileggi in the photo. And the other photo is about Stabat Mater, which is what the concert is. Wednesday night at 10:30 p.m. on the U.S. West Coast. The New Zealand Symphony, let me start that again, because I have to make a clip out of this. Wednesday night at 10:30 p.m. on the U.S. West Coast. The New Zealand Symphony Orchestra and choruses and soloists under conductor Valentina Pileggi live stream for you Puccini's Stabat Mater and contemporary composer Victoria Kelly's response to it. Boy, did I hack that up horribly. I'm going to repeat it again. Forgive me, those of you who are watching live. Wednesday night at 10:30 p.m. on the U.S. West Coast, the New Zealand Symphony and choruses and soloist under conductor Valentina Pileggi live stream for you Puccini's Stabat Mater and contemporary composer Victoria Kelly's response to it. There, now that's properly done, don't you think? And so the reason I put in the specific timing is this is at 6:30 in the evening down under in New Zealand, which is 11 hours ahead of us here in Europe. So it'll be 7:30 in the morning here in Europe, which will be 1:30 late night on the East Coast on Wednesday night and 10:30 p.m. on the West Coast in LA on Wednesday evening. So it's a late evening show and you get a chance. It's a good orchestra. Now, Valentina Pileggi, that conductor there, she's been the conductor, she's Italian. She's been the conductor of the Richmond Symphony since 2020 and apparently has come in and has revolutionized the place. I don't want to go into those details, but I can tell you also that this year her schedule includes conducting at the Opéra de Lyon, at the Vancouver Tasmanian Bournemouth Orchestra, the London Phil, and at Opera North. So she's out there internationally conducting top orchestras in top places and very much into opera, as you can see. And so a good pick for conducting these works. Now, the composer, the Rossini's Stabat Mater, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's fairly well known. Now, Victoria Kelly, who is what they call a Kiwi composer, meaning she's from New Zealand. They call themselves Kiwis. Anyway, she composed a Stabat Mater on commission from the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra. And she has done, she has basically worked with New Zealand groups, the New Zealand Symphony, the Auckland Phil, Voices New Zealand, which is the vocal group that's singing in this performance, the New Zealand String Quartet, etc. And she's also composed about 20 film and television soundtracks. And honestly, I really think that a lot of contemporary music owes so much to our changes in mentality from film and television music that's excellent training ground for a contemporary composer. Because on film and television, they play listenable contemporary music. But anyway, but let me tell you how she describes this, because it's a very different Stabat Mater. She says, Stabat Mater is a secular exploration of female power. This piece interprets Mary's power as life and imagines her undertaking a journey from the Garden of Gethsemane on the night before the crucifixion towards an alternative future in which she saves her child. Wow. So, okay. There are so many reasons for checking this. If you're an entrenched feminist, you have all these reasons for tuning into this. But I think it just sounds very interesting. And to pair that with Puccini's Stabat Mater, you're sure to get a contrast between then and now, for better or worse, as they say when people get married. Okay, we move on from that to the weekend. I don't have anything to tell you about on Friday, but don't worry, there's probably going to be something, but you'll have to tune in to when we do a, how shall I say it? When we do the weekend highlights, because your problem here is that, let me move that microphone out of the picture. Your problem is that on Friday it could be Gulbenkian, it could in Portugal, it could be OCESP, the Sao Paulo Phil, it could be the at Teatro Cologne. But those people, they don't make clear announcements of when they're live streaming in advance. So we may not know until Thursday or Friday what's going on Friday. There may be something more from ARD Classic as well, meaning another German orchestra. They just don't tell us in advance, and I just dig up what I can in advance. So let's move on to Saturday. Now, Saturday, I don't have a photo for this yet, but I will if I make a clip out of this. If you love Russian opera, you may not want to miss the Tomsk Phil's Saturday live stream at lunchtime in Europe. A musical diary of Tchaikovsky's life, told with arias from Iolanthe and Eugene Onegin and The Enchantress, and from the Moscow Cantata, and much more. So a musicologist, Vera Timofeyeva, has gathered together a bunch of sopranos, baritones, and tenors, accompanied by piano, and they're going to be doing all these pieces. They'll be doing, for instance, Lenski's aria from Eugene Onegin, Kuda, Kuda, Kuda viduda lilis, vesni moe. And I will spare you the high note there where it says Latia. Anyway, they'll be doing Kuma's aria from the opera The Enchantress, a duet for Iolanthe. Then they're also going to do a bunch of Russian romances as well. If you're really into that Russian stuff, it's Tchaikovsky. In honor, this is his 185th birthday year. Also on Saturday, though, if that is not your cup of tea, how about an absolute legend who is still alive among us? And we don't know how many more times we get a chance to see him, because a year ago he did a concert together with Martha Argerich, and after that he announced that he had to cut back his conducting scheduling due to health problems. And then he did cut back on his conducting scheduling due to health problems. He's back for this one, so he's well enough to do this. But you don't know how many more chances you'll get. Saturday, October 4th, the Berlin Phil's honorary conductor, the venerable Daniel Barenboim, leads them through 2 Seventh symphonies, Schubert's Unfinished Symphony, and Beethoven's Seventh. It's all in an orchestral night's work. Eh? Anyway, I don't know where that line comes from. They'll start out with Carl Maria von Weber's Overture to Oberon. Then they do Schubert's Unfinished Symphony Number 7 in B minor, and Beethoven's Symphony Number 7 in A major, Opus 92. And the program has a lot of discussion of, well, what did he mean by leaving it unfinished? And was it really unfinished, etc.? I'm not a musicologist. I can't answer that. But I can tell you this. This is one of the top orchestras in the world being conducted by someone. When he's no longer here, he is certainly a legend. I think he's already legendary now. Been around since the 50s. Done everything, not only as a conductor, but as a pianist. And to have him conducting this top orchestra, doing Schubert and Beethoven, I mean, if you love music, well, this is it. It will cost you €9.90, which is the minimum price it costs for a 1-week subscription to the Berlin Phil. Sunday, the Tomsk Philharmonic will be back. Let me bring up a photo of their conductor, Igor Berendeyev. This guy never shrinks from a challenge, but this is your third chance to hear Rachmaninoff this week if you're a Rachmaninoff lover. Sunday, October 5th, the chief conductor, Igor Berendeyev, leads the Tomsk Philharmonic through a one-piece concert. But the piece is Rachmaninoff's Symphony Number 2. That's at noontime in Europe, 6 in the evening, out in Siberia. And, that means it's like 6 in the morning on the East Coast and 3 in the morning if you're up late Saturday night in LA, head down to the beach and, tune in and listen. The way you listen to these things is we give you the link. You go to the Tomsk Philharmonic's news page, and then at the top of the page, there'll be a window, a listing for this concert, and you click on that and it gets it to you. This is a piece that was written in 1907 after the revolutionary outbreak in 1905. And there was a lot of unrest going on, including Rachmaninoff's teacher, Sergei Taneyev, resigned from the Moscow Conservatory professorship that he had over the oppression that was going on. And in 1906, after all of this turmoil, Rachmaninoff and his family, they went to Italy and then Germany. And while he was in Dresden, he composed this symphony, which was all reflecting back on Russia and what it had been going through and where it was going, with the perspective that being outside of it gave to him, along with the personal experience having been in it. Hell of a symphony, if you ask me. I mean, for that reason alone. Okay, we have now I have one more production to tell you about, and I'm not going to be able to tell you too much about it. I'm sorry, but there are limits on how much I can tell you. And for this one, let me just go back to the initial photo that I was using to start out, because it's I have several pictures up there from it. Sunday, October 5th, the Vienna State Opera live streams a new production of Smetana's The Bartered Bride, which they haven't performed in 30 years, with Slavka Zamechnikova and Pavel Breslik as the star-crossed lovers at the heart of this love story, with happily a happy ending. This is not one of those tragic operas that end terribly, which is understandable, because opera was first invented to recreate Greek tragedy, and that always ends badly. But anyway, this is The Bartered Bride. I'm going to have to do a separate live stream to tell you the details of this production. There's no way to do justice to talk to you about all of the different performers and their background and what to expect from them and from the production. I just can't do it within the context of talking about 7 or 8 other things. But this is a story of a young couple. They're very much in love with each other, and they are played by Slavka Samechnikova and Pavel Breslik. That's Marenka and Yenik, and they're in love with each other. And the problem is that Marenka's parents are using a marriage broker to sell her off, in effect. Um, and Michael Lorenz plays Vasek, who is the young man whom the marriage broker has picked out. And then you have a picture there also of the ensemble, because while all this is going on, the circus has come to town, of course. So anyway, so it's a fun opera, and if you don't know opera at all, this might be a good one to discover it with, because it won't end so terribly painfully and horribly the way so many of them do. It will be performed in German in a new German translation. But listen, I want to give you all those details later on in the week. For now, let us wrap this up for this week. Let me remind you. If you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching this on any of our other platforms, please subscribe to and or follow Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. Because we really want to build up our subscriber follower base, so that one of these days, after my work on this, which is full time, this is a real live bow tie, so it goes awry sometimes, especially when I get excited. I have to tie it myself. You see, it's not a clip-on. Anyway, eventually it would be nice to be able to monetize this, and we need a whole lot more followers and subscribers to be able to even start doing that. So I hope that someone or any of these live streams inspires you, uplifts you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. You got a big band, you've got a happy opera, but if you really want to get soulful, you've got all this Rachmaninoff 3 times this week. With that, I'll say ciao for now. I will likely be back tomorrow with 2 live streams. One of them, the roundup of the organ recitals, because we have so many people that absolutely love these organ recitals, and one will be the chamber music roundup for this week. With that, I'll say ciao for now, and thanks for tuning in.